Get ready, Miguel and Lara'S incredible, life-changing story will be revealed on October 21, 2025. Miguel's heart felt heavy as he stood outside the shuttered factory doors for the last time. He had poured 20 years into that place, years of sweat, long hours, and late nights for his daughter, Lara. Now, that work was gone, and bills piled high like a mountain he couldn't climb. It stung, leaving him feeling lost. Every cent mattered, every light in their home was a reminder of responsibility that was slipping through his fingers. With no choice but to fight, he took on 3 jobs, delivering pizzas, cleaning office buildings, and stocking shelves at the local grocery store. He woke up just as dawn kissed the sky and returned home as the stars began to twinkle, running on nothing but coffee and determination. Meanwhile, Lara, once a bright-eyed sophomore dreaming of Ivy League universities, felt the pressure of their circumstances like a weight on her chest. As she walked the hallways of Maplewood High School, whispers of privilege and success echoed around her. Her friends were talking about college visits and scholarships, but all she could think about were bills to pay, and whether or not her father would make it through another grueling day. She stumbled upon an elite program that could open doors to her dream school, yet every time she considered applying, a voice inside whispered she wasn't worthy. The resentment towards her father grew. She knew he sacrificed so much, but it felt like he was dragging her dreams down with him. Things reached a tipping point when, one night during dinner, Lara snapped. "How can you expect me to work hard for my future when yours is falling apart? I can't watch you struggle. It's not fair." Her eyes glistened with tears, and Miguel's face fell. It cut deeper than any criticism from a stranger. He saw her pain, but felt deep inside that he was doing everything he could. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Everything changed when word spread about the factory's impending closure. It felt like the final blow. There was a palpable fear that ran through their neighborhood. As the community began to rally, Miguel encouraged Lara to be part of it. Reluctantly, she joined him. Leaving behind their individual battles, they began collaborating on a grassroots campaign to save the factory. Within them ignited a flicker of hope amidst despair, the chance to stand together against shattered dreams. As schools planned cancellations because of the factory's shutdown, Lara began to see her father in a different light. His exhaustion paled in comparison to the resilience he inspired in others. As they met every week to organize petitions and speeches, emotions would rise and fall, yet amidst the chaos, she discovered the strength of community and the dignity in Miguel's sacrifices. With each meeting, each poster they created, another piece of their bond healed. But as they prepared to present their proposal, doubt lingered in the air, thick and suffocating. Miguel looked over at Lara, silently asking for reassurance, and she swore she saw the tightening around his eyes, a mask of determination worn thin. Just then, an anonymous letter landed on the community center table, claiming the factory's fate was sealed. Everything they fought for stood at an edge. Would they rise above, or had they already lost more than they could bear? The community center buzzed with anxious energy. Chairs scraped against the floor as voices rose and fell, each person looking for hope amidst uncertainty. Miguel sat with Lara at a rickety table, their fingers brushing against stacks of pamphlets and plans. The letter lay ominously in the middle, a stark reminder of just how fragile their efforts were. Did this really come from a credible source? Lara asked, her voice barely rising above the murmurs around them. The room felt heavy, like the air before a summer storm. Miguel shrugged, his eyes darting from the letter to the faces of the community members who were gathered. Most had been neighbors for years, sharing barbecues and birthdays as if the struggle that loomed before them was something they could set aside. "We can't let this defeat us," he said, clenching his fists. We need to keep pushing forward. This city is our home. Lara looked at him, searching for that flicker of the determined father she once knew, the one who had cheered her on at dance recitals and cuddled up with her on movie nights, not a man who seemed so burdened by the weight of the world. But what if it's true? What if it's too late? Just then, Mrs. Harlow, a silver-haired woman with strength etched into her face, stood up at the front of the room. Listen up, everyone, she called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. We've all felt the fear, but this is our fight. Together. Mixed emotions washed over Lara. Those words sparked something deep in her. She watched as a wave of agreement rippled through the crowd. People were nodding, whispering affirmations, their collective strength rising like a tide. Do you really think we can save it? Lara asked her father, her heart pounding as the stories from their neighbors filled her with both dread and adrenaline. Miguel let out a slow breath, his expression softening. I've seen resilience in this community, Lara. If we stand together, anything is possible. As the meeting progressed and ideas flew around the room, Lara felt the resentment that had built between her and Miguel begin to unravel. She realized that their longing for a shared dream could outweigh their fears. She could still aspire to go to college while fighting for their home. It didn't have to be either-or, but rather a journey they could share. After the meeting, as the last of the chairs were stacked away, Lara lingered by the door. Dad, she began, her voice low but steady. I want to take the lead on this campaign. I want to show our community what we can really do. The determination in her eyes mirrored her father's. Miguel looked at her, a swell of pride in his chest. He had worried so much about being the foundation for his daughter, but in that moment, he could see unmistakable strength blooming within her. I believe in you, Lara. Together, we can make a difference. Yet even as they left the center hand in hand, the letter felt like a dark cloud shadowing their newfound hope. What if they failed? What if the community lost everything they were fighting for? That night, as the city lights blinked like distant stars, Lara lay awake. She felt a fire ignite within her, a blend of fear and excitement. She knew they had a long way to go, but this was their moment to rise. Their next move could change everything, but at what cost? Tomorrow, they would gather the community, but first, Lara needed one final piece to solidify their campaign, an undeniable witness to their struggle. What lay hidden in the depths of the past, waiting to be uncovered, that could change their future forever? Lara woke early, the sun peeking through her window, casting soft rays across her room. Today was the day. Today, they would gather everyone and share their plan. But first, she needed to find what she was looking for. A truth buried deep in their past could be the spark they needed to ignite this fire. She got out of bed, heart racing with anticipation. The moment felt electric, as if the universe was holding its breath alongside her. She quickly dressed and made her way to the attic. It was one of those places that whispered secrets, filled with dusty memories and remnants of lives lived. As she climbed the creaky steps, she felt a rush of nostalgia wash over her. The attic was dimly lit, filled with boxes and old furniture draped in sheets. Lara called out softly, "Mom? Dad? Anyone?" Her voice echoed slightly, just another sound swallowed by the shadows. She made her way to the far corner, where a faded cardboard box caught her eye. It bore her mother's handwriting, neat and squiggly. Carefully, she knelt and began to sift through the contents. Old photographs, meticulously preserved, spilled out, family gatherings, celebrations, and snapshots of everyday life. Her fondness for nostalgia battled with a sense of urgency. She needed to find something impactful, something that would resonate with the community and inspire them. As she dug deeper, Lara uncovered a leather-bound journal. It felt heavier than it looked, as if it contained the weight of memories and unspoken thoughts. She opened it, brushing dust from the pages, revealing her mother's elegant script. The words flooded back memories of nights spent listening to her mother share stories about their neighborhood, tales of struggle and triumph. But it was a specific entry from several years ago that caught her breath. It spoke of a time when their community stood together against a threat that seemed insurmountable. It detailed the meetings, the rallies, and the voices united in hope. Her heart pounded as she read. This was it. This was exactly the kind of history she needed. It was more than just words, it was proof that their community had risen before against the odds. They had fought, and they had won. Excitedly, Lara flipped through the pages, searching for the details of the campaign her mother wrote about. A sense of pride filled her as she read about the way people had marched together, hands holding banners that proclaimed their love for their neighborhood. A certain phrase stood out, one her mother had used repeatedly: a community is only as strong as its unity. With new clarity, Lara knew she had to present this not just as a call to arms but as a testament to their shared history. It was a story of resilience, something everyone could connect to. As she secured the journal under her arm, Lara felt emboldened. She could lead them through this fight just like her mom had led the community before. She bolted back downstairs, determination surging through her veins. With the journal in hand, she turned to leave when Miguel stepped into the hallway, sleep still clouding his eyes. He squinted at her, his expression shifting from confusion to interest. "What's going on, Lara?" he asked, blinking away the remnants of slumber. "We're going to show them our strength, Dad. I found something amazing." She waved the journal excitedly. "It's the story of our community, and how we fought for each other. We're going to use it to unite everyone again." Miguel's eyes widened, and he slowly nodded. "That sounds incredible, Lara. This could be the heartbeat of our campaign." Heart swelling with pride, Lara felt the path ahead clear. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were rekindling a legacy. As the morning sun bathed their home in golden warmth, Lara knew today could turn the tide. But would the past be enough to inspire a future worth fighting for? The clock was ticking, and time was running out. Lara's heart raced as she and her father moved into the living room, where the sunlight poured in through the large windows, illuminating the place where countless memories had been made. She could feel the anticipation crackle in the air. It was as if the house itself recognized the significance of the moment. "Dad, we need to call everyone," Lara said, her voice steady despite the excitement blooming in her chest. "The community meeting is just a few hours away. It's time they heard this story." Miguel nodded instantly, his face thoughtful. "Right. Let me grab my phone." He vanished into the kitchen, leaving Lara to embrace the quiet moment. She took a deep breath, holding the journal close. The leather cover felt warm against her hands, as if it was pulsing with the life of the words contained within. As Miguel returned, his phone buzzing with notifications, Lara mentally prepared for what was to come. She wasn't just delivering a speech, she was breathing life into a collective memory, one that could rekindle hope in the hearts of their neighbors. "The community needs this, Lara," Miguel said, tapping frantically at the screen. "I can feel it. They've been stuck in uncertainty for too long." "Exactly." She smiled, passion burning in her eyes. "They need to know we've come together before. We can do it again." Minutes passed, filled with the sound of notifications and shared glances of eagerness. Miguel finished sending out the invites, and they sat at the table, working together to brainstorm what Lara would say. "Let's start with the rally," she suggested. "That's where the fire began." "Good idea. Everyone will have those memories for sure," Miguel replied, the lines on his forehead relaxing as the ideas flowed. "You can share how your mom brought everyone together. Use the phrases from her journal." Lara nodded, feeling the weight of those words and their meaning. "Unity is strength" could resonate with everyone, but I want to dig deeper. I want them to feel what it was like back then, how we fought, how we won. Miguel leaned back, pride washing over his face. "You're going to evoke something powerful. Remember how we felt at those rallies? The excitement? The hope? Yeah, she replied, leaning forward, excitement bubbling up. It was like, we were unstoppable. I want everyone to feel that way again. Just then, the doorbell rang, cutting their brainstorming session short. Lara'S' stomach flipped. She glanced at her father, who gave a reassuring nod. They made their way to the front door, and Lara swung it open to find faces of familiar friends and neighbors waiting. "Hi, everyone!" she exclaimed, the warmth and shock of seeing them flooded her with emotion. All different ages, the neighbors wore expressions that ranged from curiosity to cautious hope. "We heard you were gathering everyone." One neighbor, Mrs. Garcia, began, her voice trembling. "What's this about?" Lara's heart swelled as she took in the scene before her. "We need to talk about our community, about who we are and how we've fought for each other." The excitement met pauses, hands rubbed together, and small degrees of encouragement flowed into the conversation. One by one, they filtered inside, the chatter rising as they settled into their seats. Lara shifted nervously, but there was no turning back now. As the room filled with familiar faces, Lara felt the collective energy beginning to rise, a shared determination lighting up the atmosphere. This was what she had hoped for, a coming together of minds ready to share strength. Lara cleared her throat, and the room quieted. "Thank you all for coming. Today, I want to share a story." But just as she began, a loud crash echoed from outside, shattering the moment. Lara's heart dropped. The sound came from the street, the source hidden by a sudden murmur of voices outside. They turned, faces lined with worry. "What was that?" someone whispered, eyes wide with uncertainty. Lara's determination flickered as her thoughts raced. Just when she felt they were about to soar, a looming threat loomed closer. With her heart racing, she made her way toward the door, knowing that the fight for their future was only just beginning. What if this was only the start of something far bigger than they had imagined? Lara swung the door open wider, stepping out onto the porch with Miguel right behind her. The sun, once a source of warmth and hope, felt distant as they emerged into the chaos. A group of people stood in a huddled circle on the street, voices rising and falling in a mix of tension and fear. "What happened?" Lara called out, her own voice almost lost in the commotion. A man from the neighbor's yard turned, his expression grave. "It was a car crash. It just spun out of control," he said, his eyes darting toward the scene. "They need help." Lara's heart pounded in her chest. Her instincts kicked in, overriding her nerves. This was not just about speaking to the community anymore, this was a moment of action. "Let us go," she shouted, motioning for everyone to follow. People rushed from the living room out into the street, drawn together by the urgency of the situation. As they approached, Lara could see the wreckage of a car twisted against the curb, smoke curling ominously from the engine. Miguel squeezed her shoulder, grounding her amidst the unfolding chaos. "Stay together," he urged, his voice calm even though she knew his heart must be racing too. They could hear the distant wail of sirens, promising help was coming soon, but each second stretched painfully. A woman lay crumpled on the pavement, her breathing shallow, while a man paced beside her, wringing his hands in distress. "I can't believe this is happening," he said, his voice trembling. Lara felt a rush of energy surge within her. This was the very essence of community, the tightening of ties when faced with danger. "We need to take charge. Everyone, listen," she called out, raising her voice to command their attention. "We can't just stand here." A wave of nodding heads and murmured agreement rippled through the crowd. Miguel stepped forward, his authority breaking through the anxiety. "Lara, maybe you can check on the woman. I can help this guy over here." With renewed focus, Lara knelt beside the woman, taking a deep breath to steady herself. "Stay with me, okay?" she said, forcing a smile despite the fear bubbling in her stomach. She scanned the woman's face, which was pale and lined with pain. "Can you hear me? Help is on the way." I was just driving, the woman murmured, her eyes fluttering. Big tears welled up as she fixed her gaze on Lara. I didn't see the truck coming. It's okay. You're safe now. We're all here with you, Lara reassured her, finding strength in the words that her mother once spoke in times of crisis. Around them, more hands joined neighbors, forming a human shield, protecting the vulnerable. As more people poured into their makeshift circle, Lara felt a shift, fear turned into solidarity. The crowd settled into an unspoken pact to support one another, a critical swirling energy igniting the air. Moments later, the sirens blared closer, creating a backdrop to their unity. Lara's heartbeat steadied just slightly. This was where they stood together. This was what her community meant. But just as relief washed over her, she caught sight of something on the ground, a crumpled piece of paper fluttering in the wind. Instinctively, she reached for it, her fingers trembling as she unfolded it. Her breath caught as she read the words. The truth must come out. Every instinct in her screamed that this was connected to something deeper, something she hadn't expected but had been waiting for. As the paramedics arrived and began to take over, Lara looked at Miguel, whose brow furrowed with concern. They would have to fight not just for their community but for the truth behind this incident. What was the truth trying to reveal? And how would it steer them forward? Lara's heart raced as she clutched the crumpled note. The ink, still fresh, twisted in her grip like a living thing, demanding attention. The truth must come out. What truth? And why now? Her mind buzzed with questions even as she knelt beside the injured woman, trying to balance the urgency for help with the weight of this cryptic message. Lara. Miguel's voice broke through her thoughts. He was standing beside the paramedics, pointing back to the main street. We've got to clear the way for the ambulance. She nodded, shaking off the unease, and pushed up to help. The crowd wasn't just a collection of faces anymore, it was a swarm of human determination. As they helped the injured woman onto a stretcher, Lara felt the heat of the sun on her back, a stark reminder of the chaos around them. The sirens wailed closer, a sound that should have offered relief but now felt loud and invasive, pushing against the fragile unity they'd just built. Hold on tight, we've got you, one of the medics assured the woman gently. The frantic pacing of the man beside her turned into stillness as he grasped her hand, holding on as if to tether her to this world. The moment briefly felt sacred, a reminder of what really mattered, the connections we forge in times of need. Yet, as the stretcher rolled away, Lara's eyes flicked back to the crumpled paper. She couldn't shake the feeling that it was vital, as though it held the key to understanding a bigger picture that was unfolding before them. Lara, come on. Miguel urged, pulling her back into the present. They had to redirect the crowd, pushing them back to allow the emergency vehicle space. Straining against the surge of people, Lara felt her own strength tapping into something primal as she began shouting orders. Make some room. We need to move. The crowd responded, albeit reluctantly. The community was instinctively protective, unwilling to abandon someone in need, but as they shifted, a new wave of uncertainty blew through the air. As the last of the injured were taken to an ambulance, the reality of the situation settled in. The crowd began to disperse, drawn to their lives, but the pulse of fear remained. What had really happened? Was anyone else hurt? In the back of her mind, the note twisted like a sinister reminder. Once all the chaos subsided, Lara and Miguel would have to dig deeper. Together, they'd piece together what transpired, not just as a response to that day, but as part of something larger lurking beneath the surface. Are you okay? Miguel asked as he fell into step beside her, his brow still creased with worry. You seem lost. I'm fine, Lara replied, refusing to let him see the dread creeping in. Just a lot to process. But we can't ignore this, he began, anxiety tinged with determination. If that crash wasn't an accident, no, she agreed, a chill trailing down her spine. We can't. As they turned to walk back into the heart of the community, hands clasped tightly, Lara already felt the energy shift. This wasn't just a car crash, it felt like a turning point, a call to action that wouldn't let them rest. The truth was out there, and now it was calling for them both. What lay beneath the surface of this crash and what truth awaited them just beyond the horizon? Lara'S' breath came in quick bursts as they walked away from the chaos. The ambulance sirens faded, but the buzzing in her mind only intensified. She turned to Miguel, whose expression mirrored her own turmoil. "What do we do now?" he asked, shooting her a glance filled with determination and growing concern. "I think we need to talk to that woman," Lara said, her voice trembling but resolute. "The one who was injured. She might know something about that crash." Miguel frowned. "What if she doesn't want to talk? People are shaken up after something like this." Lara's stomach twisted at his words. It would be a difficult conversation, but the urgency clung to her like a heavy cloak. "We have to try. We won't know anything if we don't ask." They headed towards the hospital where the ambulance had taken the woman. Each step felt heavier, laced with uncertainty. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows that distorted the familiar streets, turning them into a maze of doubt. Inside the hospital, the smells were antiseptic and sharp, almost nauseating. Lara felt a pang of anxiety grip her heart as they approached the reception desk. She swallowed hard before asking about the injured woman. "Rosa," the receptionist replied, her tone cool but calm. "Room 201. Family members only at the moment." Lara'S' heart sank. What if she doesn't have family here? Miguel nodded, urgency rising again between them. "Let us just try to get in. We'll explain we're friends." They navigated through sterile white halls until they stood outside the door. Lara hesitated, lifting her hand to knock, then drawing back. What if she doesn't want to talk? What if she doesn't remember anything? Then we try again later. "But we can't leave without trying," Miguel said firmly. Taking a deep breath, Lara knocked softly. "Rosa?" Moments later, a quiet voice called, "Come in." Lara pushed the door open, revealing a small room drenched in muted light. The woman lay on the bed, a bandage wrapped around her head. She looked fragile but alert, her eyes darting toward them as they entered. "Who are you?" Rosa asked, her voice hesitant but curious. "We're friends," Lara said, trying to sound warm. "We saw the crash. Are you okay?" I think so," Rosa replied slowly, her brow furrowing. "Just a little confused. Can you tell us what happened?" Miguel asked gently, leaning in but respecting her space. Rosa shifted slightly, wincing. "I remember. I was driving home from work. It all happened so fast." Lara leaned in closer, her heart racing. As Rosa continued, the details tumbled out slowly, each word pulling Lara further into a chilling narrative. "A loud noise," Rosa whispered, her eyes widening. "And then, a figure. Someone stepped into the street." Lara and Miguel exchanged glances, a cold shiver creeping down her spine. "A figure?" Rosa nodded, her eyes flickering, full of fear. "I don't know who, but I swear they weren't just crossing the street. They were." "Doing what?" Lara pressed, her pulse pounding in her ears. Rosa's gaze fell, as if she feared what she would reveal. "Chasing something, or someone." The atmosphere shifted like a weight had descended between them, pressing harder than before. Lara felt a chill of realization creeping in, colliding with the previous moments of chaos. As the door creaked open, the nurse stepped in, disrupting the urgent exchange. "Visiting hours are." Lara's heart raced faster. This was it. They needed to know more before they got kicked out. "Please. Just a moment longer." But the nurse took a step closer, sensing the tension. "I'm sorry, but wait." Miguel interjected. We need to find out what happened. It's important. The nurse hesitated, glancing at Rosa, who just nodded slowly. With a determined look, the nurse sighed. Fine, just a few more minutes. Lara turned back to Rosa, dread and hope warring within her. You have to remember, please. As Rosa took a deep breath, Lara wondered if this would lead them deeper into a truth more complicated than they could have ever imagined. What had started as a simple accident was unfolding into something bigger, and they were already in too deep to turn back. Would the truth set them free, or trap them in a web they couldn't escape? Rosa took a moment, her face pale but determined. I don't want to remember the wrong things, she whispered, her fingers curling tightly around the bed's edge. Lara felt an urgent pull in her chest as she nodded, hoping to convey understanding. It's okay, take your time. Anything you can share might help. Drawing in a shaky breath, Rosa's blue eyes flickered with memories. There was a car, but not just any car. It was different. It felt like it was moving too fast for the street, you know? Lara's heart raced. Different how? Rosa glanced toward the window, as if the sunlight could provide the answers. Almost like it was alive. I couldn't see it clearly. Just the movement, the blur. A rush of adrenaline surged through Miguel. And the person? He asked, leaning closer. What about the figure you saw? I don't know. Rosa's voice trembled. It felt like I was watching some sort of dream, or a nightmare. They were running, and then what? Lara urged, her voice slightly frantic. It felt like, 1 minute they were there, then the next gone. Tears formed in Rosa's eyes, glistening like tiny beads. I didn't see what happened, but I heard a scream. It still echoes in my head. The nurse cleared her throat, stepping into the fragile moment. This is really not the time for wait. Miguel interrupted again, desperation clawing at his throat. This is important. If we can figure out who that person was, maybe we can understand what happened. Rosa's breath quickened. You think it's connected to the crash? Yes. Lara exclaimed, momentarily sharing Miguel's fervor. Please, Rosa. If you can remember anything, if you can picture even a small detail, Rosa, the nurse said gently but firmly. It's crucial for your recovery to rest. You don't need to force anything right now. Rosa's eyes widened. No, they need to know. I feel like I'm supposed to tell them. The tension in the room felt electric. Lara could feel the nurse's hesitation and the swirling chaos in Rosa's mind. Rosa, please. Trust yourself. What did they look like? Taking another slow breath, Rosa focused, her brow furrowing. I saw the hair, it was dark, maybe, long. Do you recognize them? Are they someone you know? Miguel pressed gently. Rosa frowned, her face contorting with confusion. I can't put a name to the face. But it felt important, like they were out of place. Out of place, Lara echoed, feeling a chill run down her spine. What do you mean? It's like they stood out, but not just from the accident. It felt wrong. Wrong? Miguel repeated. In what way? Before Rosa could respond, the nurse stepped forward, a warning look in her eyes. Time's up, we really need to, but Lara couldn't shake the mounting tension. One more question, she pleaded, her voice thick with urgency. Do you think they were in danger themselves? Or were they dangerous? Rosa blinked, confusion rolling through her like an unsettling tide. I don't know, but it felt like they were always looking over their shoulder. Like they were being hunted. The nurse's eyes softened slightly, perhaps seeing the pleading desperation in their young faces. With an uncharacteristic lightness in her tone, she said, You can come back. Just give her time to heal. Thank you, Lara and Miguel whispered in unison, feeling a shared resolve solidify between them. As they stepped out into the hallway, Lara felt the weight of Rosa's words sink deep. They were standing at the threshold of something sinister, and with every piece of the puzzle that fell into place, it was almost too much to bear. "Do you think it's possible?" Miguel asked softly, their steps echoing in the vast emptiness of the hospital corridor. "I'm not sure," Lara replied, her heart drumming anxiously. "But I know we can't let it go. We have to find out who that person was." The air felt electric as uncertainty and anticipation swirled around them. They were heading into uncharted territory, a path lined with shadows and questions that demanded answers that might unravel everything they thought they knew. And then, a chilling thought struck Lara. Was the crash just the beginning? She turned to Miguel, urgency crawling beneath her skin. What if we're just scratching the surface? What if Rosa's not the only one who saw? Miguel's expression tightened. Then we have to find them. Whoever they are. Their quest had only just begun, and already the stakes couldn't be higher. What awaited them next could either lead them to the truth or plunge them deeper into danger. As they stepped out into the fading light of day, a question hung in the air, heavy with portent. What had they truly gotten themselves into? The darkness that enveloped the hospital lobby contrasted sharply with the bright hope flickering inside Miguel and Lara. They moved with purpose, the weight of Rosa's memories sharpening their focus. Each step echoed with determination and fear, like whispers of the unknown tugging at their sleeves. Outside, the sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the parking lot. The air felt electric, charged with the anticipation of their next move. "We need to find someone who knows about that car," Lara said, glancing back at the entrance, where Rosa lingered in their thoughts, a fragile thread binding them to a mystery yet unsolved. Miguel nodded, urgency bubbling in his chest. "I was thinking the same. Maybe a witness? Someone who was nearby when it happened?" His mind raced through the possibilities. "Let us start with the cafe down the street," Lara suggested, her voice taking on a determined edge. "It's close enough, someone must have seen something. And if that person really was in danger they might still be around." As they walked, a mix of frustration and fear danced in the pit of Lara's stomach. Rosa's vivid descriptions haunted her. What if the figure was trying to escape, or even worse? A chill swept over Miguel. "Then will be their only chance," he replied, his tone laced with resolution. The cafe was a cozy spot, its neon sign flickering against the somber sky. They stepped inside, the smell of freshly brewed coffee and baked goods enveloping them like a warm hug. The invitations of laughter and chatter felt distant, they were on a mission. Lara scanned the room, her gaze landing on a group of young adults at a table near the window. One of them, a girl with vibrant purple hair and a thoughtful expression, seemed to be staring outside, lost in thought. "Maybe we could talk to her?" Lara gestured subtly. Miguel followed her gaze. "You read my mind." As they approached, Lara's heart raced. The girl looked up just as they reached the table. "Excuse me," Lara initiated, her voice steady, "we're looking for anyone who might have seen a car accident nearby. Do you mind?" The girl's eyes widened, recognition flashing across her face. I saw something yesterday," she stammered, suddenly alert. "A car sped by but it didn't just drive past. It swerved, like it was trying to avoid something. And there was a person, running." Miguel leaned in closer, sensing the weight of their questions pressing down on him. "What did they look like?" The girl hesitated, her brow furrowing as she combed through her memories. "They had dark hair. I think. But I was so surprised, I couldn't fully take it in. It was like a scene from a movie," she said, her voice lowering as if sharing a secret. "Did you see where they went?" Lara pressed, urgency lacing her words. "No," the girl admitted, shaking her head. "Just into the alley. And they looked scared. Like they were running from something." In that instant, everything shifted. The pieces Rosa had provided intertwined with this new information, tightening the veil of danger surrounding them. "Thank you," Miguel said, the weight of revelation heavy in his words. "Do you remember anything else? Anything at all?" The girl bit her lip, her brow creasing in thought. Just after that, there was a loud noise. Like. Her eyes widened in realization. It sounded like a crash. Lara could feel her heart pounding, the urgency of the moment overwhelming. "Thank you so much. You could really help us." As they thanked her and walked away from the table, the gravity of what they'd learned settled in, numbing yet electrifying. With every detail, the web of secrets became thicker and more complex. "Do you think Rosa was right? Is someone really hunting that person?" Miguel asked, his voice barely above a whisper as they stepped back outside. Lara looked up, where the last rays of sunlight struggled to pierce through the encroaching darkness. "We have to find out before it's too late," she replied, her determination boiling within her. "This is just the beginning. We can't turn back now." They stood at the threshold of a deeper mystery than either had ever anticipated, the night closing in around them, warm and intimidating all at once. As they resumed their search, a flicker of doubt crept into Lara'S' mind. What if they were now part of something much larger and far more dangerous than either of them could handle? The shadows loomed longer, waiting for them to uncover the truth, and as the reality of their quest settled in, a new question surfaced: who would they become when it was all over? The world felt different as Miguel and Lara stepped out of the cafe, the sweet scent of coffee replaced by the heavy weight of uncertainty. The street was dimming, shadows stretched long, and every sound seemed amplified: the crunch of gravel underfoot, the chatter of passing cars, the pounding of their own hearts. "We need to find that alley," Lara insisted, urgency sharpening her voice. The girl's description had ignited a spark of determination. Someone was in danger, and they couldn't ignore it. Not after everything they had faced. Miguel nodded, his eyes alight with the same fierce resolve. "Let us go." They dashed through the quiet streets, determination coursing through their veins. The alley was just a few blocks down, and with each step, the memories of their struggles flooded back: high school hallways cloaked in whispers, unyielding bills, and the ever-looming threat of the factory's closure. But this fight felt larger, more exhilarating. It was about lives. Their feet carried them forward, each stride a testament to their commitment to not only save their community but uncover a truth that demanded to be heard. Turning the corner, they spotted the mouth of the alley. It was narrow, littered with remnants of the city's daily hustle: discarded wrappers, rusted bins, and the faint echo of their breaths against the cool brick walls. Lara'S' heart raced as they stepped into the shadows, the dim light offering little comfort. "This is where the girls saw that person run." Miguel glanced at her, concern plastered across his features. "Remember to be careful. We have no idea what we're diving into." "I know," Lara replied, swallowing hard, "but if that person is in danger, we can't let fear stop us." Together, they ventured deeper into the alley, every corner weaving a tapestry of tense anticipation. Scraps of conversation hung in the air, stories waiting to be uncovered, and Lara felt a sense of connectedness to her mother's words from the journal: "A community is only as strong as its unity." Suddenly, a sound echoed from further inside the alley: panicked whispers and hurried footsteps. Miguel's grip on Lara'S' arm tightened as they pressed against the wall, their hearts pounding louder than the sounds of the city. "Did you hear that?" she whispered, eyes wide. Before Miguel could respond, two figures came into view, darting from a nearby corner. One appeared startled, their dark hair flying in disarray as they stumbled out of the shadows. "This way. Hurry!" they shouted, urgency laced in their voice. "Is it them?" Miguel whispered, tension rippling through him like an electric charge. "I think yes," Lara replied, their instinct pulling them closer. The figures turned, faces illuminated by faint streetlight filtering through the alleyway. They were young, barefoot, and wild-eyed with panic. Help! The girl cried, her voice cracking. They're coming. Without hesitation, Lara stepped forward. Who? Who is coming? The boy turned, tears streaming down his cheeks. They're not safe. We have to go. They'll find us. Lara'S' heart raced. Wait. We want to help. But before they could respond, a roar of engines echoed down the street, drowning out their desperate pleas. The two newcomers bolted, fear propelling them into the darkness. After them. Miguel urged, pushing Lara forward. They chased the figures, adrenaline surging through them. They could hear footsteps echoing and frantic breaths mingling in the thickening night. Stop! We're on your side. Lara shouted, her voice piercing through the shadows. Ahead, the figures paused near a dimly lit doorway. The boy and girl, breathing heavily, glanced back at Lara and Miguel, uncertainty clouding their eyes. Why should we trust you? The girl asked, desperation running deep. Because, Lara said, we've been fighting for our community, just like you were. We want to protect those who can't protect themselves. It's true, Miguel added. We all deserve safety. As the rumbling engines grew closer, the girl's expression softened, eyes wide with a mix of fear and hope. They're part of something dangerous. We don't know everything yet, but we can't let them catch us. Then let us move. Lara commanded, her voice steady despite the chaotic energy swirling around them. They needed a plan, a moment to regroup. The four of them jostled into the dim building, its door creaking ominously as they pressed inside. What is happening? Miguel asked, urgency sticking between each word. We're being hunted, the boy revealed, peering out the window. There's been something going on with the factory. People have gone missing. As the weight of that revelation sunk in, Lara felt her heart plunge. The factory, so much danger spiraled around it. Do you know who is behind this? The girl nodded, her voice shaking. They're targeting anyone who knows too much. We got caught in the middle. But if we're going to fight back, we need your help too. In that moment, something shifted within Lara. She saw a glimmer of hope in others' determination, tied together by a shared fear and vision. Together, we can stand up to this. Only then can we uncover the truth. As the sounds of approaching vehicles echoed outside, they exchanged glances, fear igniting courage. They couldn't just be swept away in the current of confusion. They had to stand united, ready to fight. Let us go. Their hearts thumped in unison. This was just the beginning. Their quest for truth would weave through this darkness until they found light. In a world bruised by shadows, they would become the beacon. They would protect what mattered most. No one would put out the fire of their resolve. None of them were alone anymore. The night was long, but they were ready to face it together. And, for every step into the unknown, they'd uncover what they needed to reclaim their lives, and the truth. Now, more than ever, Lara and Miguel knew, they were on the precipice of something incredible. The odds were stacked against them, but with unity, they would rise. Their journey would change everything. So in this moment, they grabbed hold of hope, fueling it with their voices. And the world around them began to shift. This was where they would forge their path and fight for their community. This was just the beginning, and they were ready. Don't wait any longer. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss more thrilling stories that could inspire you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the momentum going. Your support means everything. Comment below your thoughts. What do you feel after this epic twist? And share this journey instantly with at least 5 friends who need to hear how powerful unity can be. You need to support the channel so we can keep bringing you these incredible tales. This is the moment. Don't hesitate, act now.